Good morning, class. My name is Robin, and I am going to be talking about the case assessment for my agency. My agency is Mindful Works in Boulder, and they are a social enterprise nonprofit um, transit who provides services to individuals who have mental health challenges. We provide job readiness skills, confidence building skills, and we're trying to get them to the next step, which is competitive employment and the labor market so that they can build self sufficiency and empower their lives. My role at this agency has been um, questionable, all of that. Um, but as the intern, I've been kind of filling in the gaps here and there. Mostly my role is to be a job coach for our clients, which I may also refer to them as apprentices. Um, I help them in staying on task, encouraging them to push through their shifts. The clients work 2 days out of the week, Mondays and Wednesdays, for 3 hours at a time. So 10 to 1 or 1 to 4. And sometimes it can be a struggle to get them to push through a 3-hour shift. So my role is to work alongside the apprentices and help encourage them to push through their shift, stay on task, pay attention to detail, and learn coping skills to manage their symptoms while they're at work. We really try to emphasize soft skills in this program so that they have these skills they move forward in employment, which is their critical skills for any position they would have. Soft skills look like showing up on time, dressing appropriately, engaging well with others, staying on task, attention to detail, retention, let's see here, coping skills, stamina, building longer work shifts, things such as that. For this particular case assessment, I'm going to focus on one individual, one of our clients. He is a year-old white male. He comes from an affluent white wealthy family, and his parents are actually paying for a program for us to assess his job readiness skills. So the presenting problem with the client, this client has developed a pretty good relationship with me. He requests to work with me frequently. I think he feels comfortable in sharing with me how he feels, and he has expressed on numerous occasions his frustrations with the supervisor, who's also my supervisor. He feels as though she talks down to him, she belittles him and demeans him, and um, he just doesn't feel respected. And I've even heard her tone with him, and I can understand completely why he would feel that he's not being respected by her. So, particular client has been with us since September of 2018. His strengths, he has a really great personality. And even though he is dealing with a lot of mental illness on various levels, he comes into work and he is, at least when I engage with him, he's always very kind. He's very intelligent. He is a graduate student. He's very smart with history. He stays on task. He pays attention to detail. He does a really good job when he's at work. So he has a lot of strengths. As far as limitations, I know that he's expressed his communication barriers. He processes a normal sentence, something we may look at we may look at a sentence a certain way. He will analyze each and every word to the point that it actually becomes for him to answer questions and also to communicate back. He will sometimes not convey what he's trying to say because he cannot find the words he wants to use. So he's openly talked about his communication struggles. His family he's very connected with his family, but his family plays a big role in how himself. I know that he has expressed a lot of he's expressed that his parents have been pretty disappointed with him for his age and not having a job, and I think he's felt belittled by his family. So he just has this negative, seems like this negative self-identity and self-acceptance piece that I'd like to see him work on at some point. Um, actual the event that I want to talk about is a meeting that my supervisor asked me to attend with this particular client and the client's therapist from DVR. DVR is one of our referral agencies. They are Department of Vocational Rehab, and that's a big part of the recovery piece. They handle more of the therapeutic piece as well, whereas we're mostly focused on so I was asked to attend this meeting, which I'd never done before, so I didn't really know what I was getting involved with. And I had to I was only able to stay at the meeting for half of the meeting because I had to pick up my son early and I had stayed late for this meeting. So they knew I would be leaving early. But at the meeting, the therapist from DVR brought up, she brought something up that I didn't expect. And I was put on the spot with, I feel like I would have I didn't really know how to answer this question. So the therapist, in front of my supervisor, myself, and the client, she said that the client had expressed to her how frustrated he was with Mindful Works. And the client has expressed this to me on numerous occasions, especially with his frustrations related to the supervisor. I've not said anything to the supervisor about it. I've just organized conversations between us. And I didn't know if I should go to the supervisor, so maybe you can give me some insight on that. But the DVR therapist, she brought up the fact that the client was feeling frustrated with the program. And she looked at my supervisor and I both, and she said, did either of you know anything about his frustrations with this program? And my supervisor was completely taken aback. She was surprised, and I don't know why, because unfortunately a lot of people have been dissatisfied with this program. But when the question was posed to me, I said that it was somewhat surprising, but I had also spoken with the client on a few different occasions, and I did know about some of the frustrations he was having. And then when the client was asked about what specifically his frustration, he immediately clammed up. He was tripping all over his words. He just couldn't convey what he was trying to say, or he might have been scared, and or both. My supervisor is not the easiest person to talk to, so I feel like he was intimidated and he wasn't able to actually talk about what he'd been talking about with his therapist all along. So this is when our clients are feeling frustrated with the program or frustrated with the supervisor and her communication. And so my question to the class is, how would you go about implementing change at this agency when the changes that need to be made relate to the supervisor, the one who's in charge? This is the problem with this agency, and this is actually why I asked for a transfer, because of the communication barriers and the way she's running this program, and it's not aligned with. I'm all about seeing progress made with the clients, and we're more profit and production focused, less client-centered focus, which is where I'm at. So the next question is, how would you have approached that meeting when asked that question, especially if you were unprepared? That question took me aback, and I didn't know how to answer because it related to the supervisor, and I felt put on the spot. And I think the client also felt put on the spot, and he was unable. So I'd love to get some feedback on this case. I look forward to you watching my video and giving me your insight. Thank you.